Thank you, and I think I'm going to have a good connection to your story, so that's perfect. That's all behind you. My name is Sean Walter. I've been a member here at Weston Lutheran since the end of 2009, and I'm currently serving on council. And I will be, this December, will be finally have my master's in criminal justice. I just want to try to make this short and sweet, because I really want to make my main point is about what I was discussing with the mission statement. Just a little background of myself. I had an interesting experience as a gay man because with my family, I'm going to talk about my mother a lot, and I've actually gone backwards than most people experiences are, where you start off, usually the typical story you hear is that when someone comes out to his or her family, it starts off bad, but then some parents kind of learn and grow from it, and it moves forward. But it's not backward. I actually grew up in a pretty diverse household. My father is Jewish, and my mother was raised Catholic. Both were pretty secular during my childhood, especially my mother. And so I had just that diverse upbringing. Judaism brings in a lot of modern Judaism in America brings a lot of mindedness, and that was kind of the culture I was raised with, because that's the family I spent the most time with. It was still a struggle, of course, and I came out to my parents when I was a senior in high school, and while my mother said it was nothing that she would want from me because of how I was to be treated, it's just how it was, and it was an issue of science for her. It was how it was, and move on. But my parents, because I've been in Oregon since 2008, in 2010, my parents had a really devastating split. My father left her, and the recession absolutely killed his career. He completely bankrupted the family and left my mother penniless and alone. And that was absolutely devastating for her. This is a woman who, her family was her whole life, and now she had nothing. So she did what a lot of people in our culture did when she turned to God out of not having a relationship with God for 30 years. But she went to a church where she knew that she would get the answers that she wanted to hear. And that is a black and white answer. She returned to Catholicism, or she went to a church like ELCA or United Methodist, she wasn't going to get black and white answers. So she went to a Foursquare church, which is usually labeled charismatic, which is Pentecostal in its roots with politeness. It's what I personally call California conservatism, which is not necessarily meaning California. It means that you have very strict traditionalist conservative beliefs, but you say and you talk the progressive talk, because you know if you don't, you will turn off young people, and that's who you're trying to minister to. So, in our part of the country. So all of a sudden, now she had to reevaluate her previous stated opinions about me, and it was all of a sudden, it was a hard issue for her now. She was revisiting it 4 or 5 years later, she's now revisiting it and reevaluating, and went backward. It was now a life of sin, it was immoral, it was something that she prayed for me about. She can't judge me for it, she's not judging me for it, that's not her place, but it was now this big issue for her that she was struggling with and she had bothered with for 4 years. The church to bring it to the mission statement, the church that she goes to would look at her mission statement and absolutely agree with it. They absolutely would say, yes, of course, all. They would never disinvite me from attending their service. They would never disinvite me from worshiping with them. They would absolutely welcome everybody into their doors. They would minister to anybody that asked for help. They absolutely would preach, and genuinely preach against people that use the Bible as a weapon, and would remind people that it's not their place to judge. They would very much agree with that. But this is where the all is different, and I'm addressing I'm restating what I said to council last year, when someone said, why are we doing this? Didn't we cover our bases? Because we can put all in there. Well, no, because if I was attending their church, despite all that they would, all the openness that they would give me, there is no way that I would ever be allowed to serve on council. There is no way that they would be okay with me teaching Sunday school or organizing youth group, because even though they would be very polite about it, there is no way they would be comfortable with me being alone with a team of preteen boys. I would never be allowed to go on a mission trip on their behalf. I would never allow to be served on any board, or participate in any outwardly ministering event in the name of their church. Because as far as they're concerned, I'm openly, acceptingly living a life of sin. And to bring my personal experience back to that example, to my mother. In Christmas 2012, I went up for my usual Christmas visit and New Year's visit, and my partner at the time was coming for a visit as well, who she followed the all. She opened up her doors to both of us. She didn't treat him any differently than she treated my brother's fiance. She was open about it, non-judgmental, a good Christian woman. But the issue was, she was not going to allow the two of us to share a bedroom in her house. I didn't think it was an issue because my brother and his fiance at the time, they're not married, but they weren't married at the time. They were living with my mother, and they were sharing a bed. My brother professed to be a Catholic. Hope's pretty clear. That's not okay. I don't care. Obviously, that's not how my mind thinks, but if you're going to profess to believe that, don't you have to follow all the rules? I'm kind of confused. So I brought that to my mother's attention, and she could never really give a really good, clear answer, because the real reason was, it was less bad for her that my brother was sharing a bed with his fiancée, because his fiancée was a woman. And even though she knew they were technically on her very strict black and white rules, they were sinning as well, and they were breaking the rules as well. It was less bad than if I was to share a bedroom with my partner at the time. She gave the worst reason. I'm not going to bother giving you the reason what it was. It was ridiculous. But she was following our mission statement. It's all. She opened up her doors. She wasn't judging me, right? But that's not all. Putting in all does not cover it. And I'm not making an argument to change the mission statement like you brought up first. I'm just trying to, for those of you who are like, why are we doing this? Didn't we cover this already by putting it all? No, because there is a difference. And like I said before, if I was at a different church that would profess to agree with our mission statement, I would not have had the opportunities that I've had here at Westland Lutheran. So it's very important that Westland Lutheran and other churches in the ELCA, similar denominations, stand up and say, no, we are different. When we say all, we mean it. Like she said, everyone goes with